Vertical farming is often heralded as the future of farming due to its many advantages, but even with its continued popularity, it's important to critically assess some of its weaknesses. And with rapid inflation globally, it's more important than ever to explore vertical farming's viability. Before we start, if you want to learn more about the growth of vertical farms, download our free market trend report on vertical farming. Link in bio. Number 1. High capital requirements. To launch a vertical farm is expensive. There's no hiding from the fact that the upfront capital required to design and create a vertical farm is substantial. According to Cambridge HOK, a global builder of vertical farms, to build a commercial vertical farm of 5,000 square meters, they would recommend a capital investment of around 10 to 15 million pounds to create a vertical farm with a strong financial model and a chance of success. Most vertical farms need expensive equipment such as climate controls, shelving units, LED lights, water lines, and computer systems. It should be noted that the cost of indoor farming equipment is expected to drop dramatically as it increases in popularity and the number of vertical farms increases, but at the moment it remains high. Number 2. High operational costs. On top of needing a large investment for the initial setup of a vertical farm, the operation costs of running the vertical farm day to day are also substantially higher than traditional agriculture. First, you have energy costs. As vertical farms rely heavily on artificial light, they are very energy intensive, and even with super efficient LED lights, lighting alone can be as much as 25 to 30% of the operational costs of a vertical farm. Labour. Although we are seeing huge advancements in further automation of tasks with a number of vertical farm startups, the fact remains that labour is still a substantial operation cost, and according to an article by Pure Green, it can be over 50% of a vertical farm's operating costs. Of course, vertical farms also have the cost associated with growing the crops, such as seeds and nutrition. Number 3. Demand for energy is enormous. The cost of energy is one thing, but the sheer demand for energy that vertical farms need is enormous. LED lights replace sunlight, and to reduce the growth cycle of these crops, these lights can be on for 16 to 20 hours a day. In addition to increasing the cost of production, it also increases sustainability concerns and increases their carbon footprint and carbon emissions. One way to mitigate these requirements is to incorporate renewable energy into your operation. Future Crop, a vertical farm based in the Netherlands, are now entirely powered by renewable energy, and we are seeing more and more incorporate renewable energy into their operations. If you want to learn more about the growth of vertical farms, download our free market trend report on vertical farming. Link is in the bio. Number 4. A limited number of crops that can be grown economically. One of the main criticism vertical farm gets when being considered as a viable food production method in the future is the small variety of crops it can produce on a commercial scale. Most commercial vertical farms produce leafy greens and herbs due to their short growth cycle, high margins and constant demand. An argument is also made that these foods tend to have a low calorie content and therefore is not advanced enough yet to supply the world's food supply. However, inroads are being made as more vertical farms look to berries and potentially tomatoes as a way to expand into new markets. One company growing strawberries on a commercial scale is Oshi. By reproducing the climate conditions of the Japanese mountains in their production facility in New Jersey, they can supply New Yorkers with vertically grown strawberries. The future does look bright on this front too, as seed breeders make advancements with new specific crop varieties for vertical farms, and leveraging AI to analyze how to speed up growth cycles, we are sure to see a wider range of viable crops emerge in the future. Number 5. Running a vertical farm requires sophisticated skills. Commercial vertical farms are evolving at a rapid rate. The level of innovation and advancement has never been higher. The technologies deployed are becoming more advanced. The skill set needed to run a vertical farm is a mixture of advanced technological and horticultural skills. Due to the high tech involved in every stage of the production process, highly educated and trained individuals are needed to set up, run, and maintain a vertical farm. As a result, the labor pool of people who possess these skills is very small. As outlined by Vertical Farm Planet, automation engineers and software engineers are required to install the climate stations, lighting system, and water recycling system. In addition, horticulturalists and biologists are needed to select the best performing crops and monitor each stage of plant growth, as well as maintain engineers to ensure that every piece of equipment functions properly. Number 6. Pollination is more difficult. Pollination is essential to fertilize the crops and produce fruits and seeds. Poor pollination directly affects the quality and quantity of fruit produced. In traditional agriculture, pollination is carried out by bees, birds, wind, and other natural pollinators. With none of these elements being present in vertical farms, other methods have to be used. Crops can be pollinated by hand, but at large scales can be time-consuming and costly. However, a number of startups are working on fixing this problem. Polybee has developed small drones that can fly from flower to flower and pollinate them, and it has already been used to pollinate crops like tomatoes, peppers, and eggplants. Check out our other video on the most innovative vertical farm startups here, or learn about the 3 types of vertical farms. Don't forget, if you want to learn more about the rise of vertical farms, download our free trend report. Link in bio.